It was a season like no other. An unfolding story so full of twists and turns, it could have been the product of Hollywood. A script that brought together flesh and metal, emotion and power, the greatest car chase ever. It dealt in fantasy, in impossible happenings, unpredictable at every scene. Old favourites returned to the stage to show they'd lost none of their lustre. Some stars dimmed, reduced to mere extras. As we embraced new heroes like familiar names, we cheered for the underdog, a celebration cut short. Like an action movie, it kept you on the edge of your seat. Bravery, excitement, glamour. A life out of reach. Subplots evolved, storylines changed, triumphs and pitfalls, a lost story gone sour. Heroes and villains switching in a moment, an epic tale requires the perfect backdrop. And this one was altered with every episode. Some of these supporting stars came with stripes, greeted with a warm fanfare. Others became the focus themselves as the tension rose. Still, the old director stood firm. And now to the end. The greatest story ever told has an ending just as captivating. And now we await the final scene. Lights out. Camera. This is SLR.
Babe, tonight my heart is on fire and I can't help thinking of you. Babe, tonight my soul is getting higher and I can't help wanting you. My desire keeps growing up and it's getting out of control. Babe, I can't tell you the truth about my heart is burning, my darling, and I can't rest till I got you. My body's burning, my darling, please let me free.
And we go green in the Netherlands, and looks like Pretorius has had a good getaway last week. Gary got wow off the start.
As he still gets the move done, does Hugo, at least for the time being, then he runs
Back
wide,
at
just
him.
fights
They're running
back,
side by side.
oh
There's Hugo, that's big for the championship. Copies drops into him. I think Copies got damage. And we go green in Russia, and it looks like a good start from WoW. From where I am sitting here is already well ahead of Danny here, and Copies already put ahead of Hugos. And Hugos is under attack from Bailey. Tops already into 5. They get close to the wall there.
We can fix everything, got a moon. I can see your eyes, babe. Tonight I just want your love above the stars. I only see you. My desire keeps growing up and it's getting out of control. Babe, I can't tell you the truth about
I mean, coming into the season, it was like difficult to know what would happen, because there were many people that I expected to be somewhat quick. The AlphaTauri boys, Jensen and WoW, were both shaping up really nicely at the end of season 4, of course, and they teamed up and they looked really dedicated. So I expected them to like be serious challengers, both of them. And then Yugos and Copy also teamed up at Williams, and I thought this was going to be like a really close championship fight, and we've got like 4 drivers in that are really good in 2 teams, and Julian was a little bit of an unknown quantity because it was like obvious to see that he didn't quite pick up the new game as well, and he was more focused in iRacing, and so it was to be expected that he was going to drop a little bit, and I just expected that to close the gap between him and the rest of the challengers. So that's how I expected the fight to go. But it turns out, even though I'm the Oracle, like it aged like milk.
Yeah, I mean, I think like my recollection at the start of the season is that we had known and did know at that point how fast Hugo was. And my sense was, honestly, that unless something weird happened, he was going to win the championship. Because, I mean, both Timo and I have lots of experience racing Hugo. You know, we're friends. And, you know, we raced him in the Assetto Corsa League, and there he was, you know, very, very dedicated to it. He's, you know, works on above everything else his consistency and his, you know, just his discipline and his racecraft and all of those things. And all of those things are, you know, extreme strengths for him. So my sense was at the start of the season, if he's also the fastest car, which it seemed like he was, you know, if he's also the fastest driver, then, you know, he wasn't going to be beaten.
Oh, we should be back. I'm really sorry for that. That was the best way to start of the season. We'll see. For the first time, the 5 red lights, and they are very shaky. But for the first time, we go green in Australia, and NJJ starts the season a little bit earlier than everyone else because he's jumped the start, and that will not be good. But
Yeah.
the inside, Gary's got the inside. He's had a really good start. Of course, he's on the soft tires. So that's going to give him some extra grip, but it doesn't look like that's going to be enough to fight Popo off for now. Oh, he's squeezed there. Popo goes deep in the softs, he's cutting it back, and Gary O'Connor goes into P7. I think that's
And Julian also the opportunist there, benefiting from his teammates' battle with Popo.
Oh,
Getting himself up into P8. Certainly close enough this time. He's using the overtake and he's going to make the move here, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Somebody is going to be... I mean, he has to think, is it really worth defending this? And the body language of his car tells me that he didn't think so.
The other way around, I don't know,
Vance
under
is
safety car.
Oh no, Vance is trying to unlap himself.
Oh, he
And
is, yeah.
everyone's weaving, so... But that's exactly what Philoctetus did in Tier 4. And he got a... And he hit WoW! Vance, what are you doing? I know everyone's weaving like crazy. He's got 2 penalties for that. What are you doing?
And
you can't
so
do that.
I'm hearing from Pixel
He's
that
crashed
the
in
game...
the safety car!
Oh no. Safety car apparently in this lap. I have
And
a feeling
got a
that...
penalty
oh,
for
and WoW
colliding
hit
with
Hugo.
Hugos.
And NJJ got a penalty while unlapping himself as well, but WoW's penalty is a big one.
And it's
Because
Hugos!
that is
Hugos has got
5
wing
seconds.
damage!
Oh dear. As he still gets the move done, does Hugo, at least for the time being, then he runs
back
wide,
at
Jensen
him.
fighting
They're running
back.
side by side.
Oh
Back goes Hugos. That's big for the championship. Copy's driven into them. I think Copy's got damage.
no! The line to win the race is some idiot. He's it's another masterclass from him.
Yeah, this has been actually a terrible race for a lot of people I thought were going to be championship contenders.
The Australia race is maybe the one race in the first part of the season that I remember very clearly. And the reason I remember it is because of Hugo's crash. At the end, he crashed with Jensen. To answer the question, no, it didn't change my expectations. It was a race that Hugo never should have been even remotely in the running for the win for. He was in the running for the win because he basically made up a whole pit stop on the field. If anything, it was a confirmation that he was exceptionally strong.
So we've got 5 red lights. And we go green in the Netherlands, and looks like Pretorius has had a good getaway. Last week Gary got wow off the start, but this time let's see how Pretorius does, and he's got the inside, and he's not got the move done. Hugo's on the outside on the mediums, has had a decent getaway. Galileo's actually put it into P4 already, stuck behind Hugo's as the timing tower is having its 10 minutes again. Hugo's taking the lead as the Mercedes mechanics proving that they are very much the fastest pit crew around, even IRL, even in the game, because...
Oh, Icewind! What are you doing, Icewind? Oh no, the 5-second pit lane speeding penalty.
There's even a good reference point in it. Galileo. Renault is,
yeah. I don't know about that. Go then.
Oh, the pit win is apparently open for intermediates. That's interesting, as we see Gary absolutely sending one down the inside of Fox, who's just had a little bit of trouble with grip under the safety car, and now Gary into P6. Let's see what happens to Galileo, actually, because I don't think that Inters are where you want to be, and even if he was correct in that assessment, he's going to struggle massively. Look at that, there's no raindrops. Is there? I don't think so.
No, it's completely dry, right? I mean, there's no way Inters make sense as Justin and Gary scrapping. Justin on old tires, Gary on new tires. We're going to keep an eye up front because Hugo is going to try and make a break while Copy acts as rear gunner for at least the time being, as Icewind has a good look. And in fact, wow, Icewind in all sorts of trouble there. Light Cruise, I think, made 2 places at once. Be it for Hugo, who did make just a small mistake there. He was trying very, very hard. Nothing to lose, of course. Wow is 5 seconds behind him, but it looks like Pretorius is going to hang on. It's been a quite brilliant drive by the Mercedes driver. To beat Hugo in any situation in F1 2020 these days is a big deal, but certainly Pretorius has made it count. He made the strategy count. Hugo's still close as they come off the last corner, but it's not close enough, and Pretorius wins at Zandvoort. Fantastic race.
Pretorius, I think throughout the season showed that he's one of those drivers who, on his day, is there with sort of probably leading the chasing pack as far as getting to Hugo is concerned, and that was and all he needed in that Zandvoort race was a little bit of good fortune, and he absolutely took advantage of it. He did really well in that one. So yeah, I mean, just a very strong performance.
Yeah, I mean, Pretorius, it was great to see, because he has been like solidly quick for the past seasons, honestly. But I think the last race he had won before this one was season 3 Monaco, and so like he had a long streak without wins. He went 2 seasons without any, and I think he was still really strong in that, but just like never close enough. And then to take it in a race with these treacherous conditions and to defend from Yugos for a few laps was pretty impressive. It was really nice to see from him. And also, I mean, yeah, it can't go unmentioned that Yugos was just like recovering really well again. And going to be on the top step of the podium instead. He wiggles across the line, 4.3.
But crossing the line to win will be Hugo. Hugo wins the race. Fantastic drive once again from our championship leader.
Hugo's won this race. Who could have seen that?
Line to win on track very shortly will be Makenda, but across the line to win on the score sheet once again is the Williams of Hugo.
As Hugos takes the win.
His fastest lap as well.
It does.
And yeah, I mean, pretty much that's how it's turned out. I didn't expect him to dominate in the way that he has. He has been extremely dominant this season.
Almost doubles Copy's points, I think. Like,
yeah.
It's really close.
But yeah, like just incredibly impressive, obviously.
Like this was completely unexpected. I didn't think he was gonna dominate. I thought he was gonna be like in the championship fight and like if he doesn't win it, maybe drop out of it around Brazil or Abu Dhabi. I didn't expect him to win like 5 races from the end.
No, I mean it's very relevant. Like it just showcases what we were saying earlier about his consistency.
Yeah, it's like what happens when nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
When
nothing goes wrong is when Hugo wins, like almost every time.
Remember how it started in Australia, when you took Hugo
about
around the outside.
Yeah.
I took him out.
By the way, were you even aware about the championship being sealed in Russia? Did you even have the scenarios?
Yeah, we mentioned it, didn't we?
Sorry, I didn't.
It was.
Do you remember any of that race? He came 12th.
Yeah, because Copy and him both crashed out turn 1 with Danny Bailey, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I remember making the joke that for most of the season they've been fighting for 1st and 2nd, but you put a 1 in front of it for this time. They were fighting for 11th and 12th.
Yeah, in that race he just needed like a solid finish, and if he didn't get a solid finish, then he needed Copy to not get a good finish, and I mean that's exactly what happened. And it was, I think, I believe the incident was actually Hugo's fault in turn 1.
Yeah.
He ran into like I don't know who he ran into, but like he basically
ran into the back of like it was Copy, wasn't it? Yeah, he ran into
it was Copy, and then Copy went on into Bailey, and Bailey and Copy also went into the back of Danny, and that's how like the 2 Williams and the 2 Ferraris.
Yeah, I think it shows the lengths that Hugo's would go to win a championship like that. I mean, that's just disgusting behaviour, however you look at it. Your teammate like that when it wins you the championship, it's just completely unacceptable behaviour.
Just because you want to do it at Russia, it's. I mean, come on, it was really unnecessary, Hugo. What are you doing? So what we're trying to say is Hugo's disqualified. Copy leading the champion. No, Copy won the championship today. Good. Anyways, it was sort of funny how like Hugo's built his incredible lead in that 7 out of 8 you keep mentioning. Like he built it up in that, and then the one race where he seals the deal has Pretorius and WoW, and who's the third one? And Gary on the podium, and Yugos and Copy out of the top 10. And it was kind of funny that exactly that race sealed the championship.
It's like real F1, right? The 2 Mexico.
The Mexico
Hamilton
race.
became champion.
Where he and Vettel crashed. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no tension about the ultimate destination of the championship. We know it is going to Hugo. It's a question of when. Copy would need to win almost every race from here on out, and Hugo would need to score almost no points from here on out as well, which isn't going to happen, assuming that something incredibly weird doesn't happen. Like Hugo decides to become a monk or something, I don't know, and retire to a monastery. Copy goes into the hyperbolic chamber for training, something like that.
Sounds about
That's
right.
what needs to happen for Hugo to lose the championship.
They got it on screen, by the way. I think the battle that is more open than the fight for P1 is obviously the one for P2. And we go green in Russia, and it looks like a good start from WoW. From where I am sitting here is already well ahead of Danny here, and Copy's already put ahead of Yugos. And Yugos is under attack from Bailey. Tops already into 5. They get close to the wall there. Car starting to the inside. That is Copy maybe having a look collision between the teammates. And Bailey Tops is sent into the wall. He's lost his front wing. Copy, I think, broke himself and ran. Or Yugos broke himself and ran into Copy.
It's Danny in the wall facing the wrong way. Hugos is facing the wrong way as well. Yeah, it was Hugo. I don't know whether he got hit from behind, but certainly he hit the back of Copy and sent him into Danny, and Danny got spun around. So Danny, we have a VSC, so no full safety car. Danny does not appear to have damage. Hugo certainly does. But a K at the beginning of this one in Russia, because you mentioned the run to turn 1. It was Hugo and Bailey side by side, and there was almost a big crash between the 2 of those. And then the crash happened a little bit later with, I think Astro Boys did hit the back of one of the Williams. We're racing again.
And this looks like it is going to break with that as no, that was just the interval, being funny. Pretorius and Icewind not moving, but coming around the last corner, wow, takes victory with 9 seconds of time penalties. I mean, it's been quite the lonely run for him, but it's still been exciting. Pretorius comes across 4.7 the gap in the end. Gary jumps up to third. Justin is fourth for the time being. There goes Danny up to P4.
Oh, Danny got Justin, wow.
Yeah, and that was quite close between those three from P3 to P5, actually. Bans P7 for now. Mersumark gonna come across the line, takes P7 for the moment. Fox, where is Fox? Behind Tipsy and...
yeah, Tipsy just lost
Tipsy
out
8.
to Mersumarku. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite close that gap in time, so he finishes P8. Still an excellent drive from Tipsy and also from Bantz as well, despite all of those penalties, managing to get himself into the top 10 with some very good points. Copy and Hugo, as you mentioned, P11, P12, not P1 and P2 as they have been for most of the season, but P11 and P12. But Hugo is confirmed as the SLR Tier 1 Season 5 Drivers Champion.
I think there's two drivers for me that have stood out recently that have come up from lower tiers. I think Dragon and Makenda, both of them very strong. Both of them adjusting to no assists, but doing very well indeed. Dragon in particular today had a very good result in Brazil. Ended up P5 from the back of the grid. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what those guys are going to do in the future. I think it'll be fun to see. There's a guy as well in he's in Tier 3 at the moment, but he's he won this week in Tier 3. I think he's a pretty good driver. I think he's one to watch for the future.
Yeah, I've heard about
But I hope he doesn't go into a Tier 1 too soon, and if he does, then there's another driver in Tier 2 who has won last week in Mexico.
And then there's another space for another commentator.
Also, to want the front. Yeah. See, I heard from I'm close with the guy from Tier 2 I mentioned, and he has to be dragged out of the commentary booth for Tier 1 kicking and screaming by Ocean Chief in case he is too good in Tier 2. So, that's the only circumstance in which you're going to see him in Tier 1.
Babe, tonight my heart is on fire and I can't help thinking of you. Babe, tonight my soul is getting higher and I can't help wanting you. My desire keeps growing up and it's getting out of control. Babe, I can't tell you the truth about you. My heart is burning, my darling, and I can't rest till I got you. My body's burning, my darling, please let me free. Tonight we can fix everything but the moon. I can see your eyes, babe. Tonight I just want your love above the stars.